Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the all-out struggle Super Battle Road stage that has recently been added to DBZ Dokkan Battle Global. So the all-out struggle category is one of the more difficult categories that we have to kind of run because they only really currently have one lead in the form of the LR Goku and Vegeta unit. So we end up having a choice between running the LR Goku and Vegeta unit and trying to run some kind of Kamehameha hybrid team. I tried to run a Goku's family team under the tech Goku's family Kaioken unit, but the options were relatively limited since you need to try and run either a Goku's family friend lead, which is very difficult to do if you don't run the Gohan Kamehameha lead. Or you need to run a Kamehameha team. So we're running the Kamehameha team. I know I'm changing the pronunciation, but just bear with me. So we're running a Kamehameha team under the LR AGL Gohan. Obviously, as always, I try not to use LRs. Generally speaking, I avoid using them, but in this situation, I really, at least with my box, I just couldn't think of an alternative situation. So for me, this was the only viable way, barring using the actual all-out struggle LR themselves. Fortunately, they are on Kamehameha, so you can use them as a friend lead if you want to, or you can just continue to use the friend Gohan like I have. So you can obviously continue to do that. But of course, pretty much just try and build your team as best you can. It is quite a difficult category to fill out. It's a bit of those wonkier categories. Still not really as fleshed out as we'd like. So I definitely think you just need to try your best, and you'll probably, at least be able to see something better. So yeah, from my end, we're going to try and abuse the Master Roshi revive mechanic as best we can, just to get some free damage, and obviously some free heals, and just to kind of try to save ourselves some items. The team in general, we have the AGL LR Gohan, and we have the Int LR Gohan that recently got his EZA. This is a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan paired with a Super Saiyan Gohan. So they pair pretty well, and giving the Int Gohan the ability to be in the second slot makes him okay. It's a little bit difficult because obviously he's not the greatest unit until he supers. He doesn't have like the most impressive defense. So yeah, that is like something to just be aware of. But he's manageable, I want to say, in this situation. He does okay. The next most important unit is going to be the Master Roshi unit. So we're going to be using the Master Roshi LR. This is the LR that we obviously got from the anniversary. The Master Roshi is pretty damn awesome. He's going to be a lot of control with his ceiling and everything like that. He's going to be really, really helpful. We also have the AGL Kaioken Goku, who we have from the we have from the Hero Extermination Extreme Z area. He obviously got his EZA from there. He's going to pair somewhat okay with Master Roshi. And then we also have the Tech Kaioken Goku that I mentioned earlier, who also obviously got his EZA. He's going to be backing us up as a floater on the rotation. And that's pretty much the team. It's a fairly good team. Could you do it better? Yep. You could definitely make a better team, especially if you have the all-out struggle lead, Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta. You can definitely make a better team. That team, if you have them, if you have the reps of Universe 7 Goku, which I do have, then if you use Master Roshi, I think you have enough for the Spirit Bomb technique to be activated, which is very, very good. And that'll obviously help you because you can kind of do like a very gimmicked strategy by basically using the Spirit Bomb and then using the active skill of the Goku and Vegeta, and essentially just destroying everybody in your path. So that is a viable strategy. Obviously we can't do that, so right now we're going to be running just this team that we have here. Our biggest concerns are going to be the Strength Goku. He's not the best defensively at all. He's not great until he takes a couple hits, and then he's okay. He's pretty decent, so we do need to be aware of that and just, you know, try and get him hit basically while our items are active, because that's really going to help us out. If we do not have our items active, we're going to have to, you know, try and keep him out of harm's way. Also need to be careful about him taking type disadvantage attacks, even with items active, to try and avoid him taking too much damage. But it is one of those things you know, can't really avoid too much. As you can see here, we just kind of have to take the damage and then go for it from there. He does do some decent damage overall, especially when he gets low on health, but he's probably one of the weaker links on the team. The AGL Kaioken Goku is also relatively weak, so he's also something we do need to be quite careful of. The Tech Goku is pretty decent. He should be fine in his floating position. As long as he gets his super off, he'll be more than okay. You just basically need to make sure he gets off that super. He will be doing some decent damage. So yeah, the team is okay. It's got a little bit of ramp up time. A lot of these units stack. A lot of them, you know, get more defense when they super. A lot of them just need ramp up time, which is something you kind of need to give the team with items. Like the AGL LR Gohans, you know, 1 or 2 super attacks and their defense is awesome. So yeah, it's just realistically something you have to be aware of, I want to say. Like, just know that you will be, with this team build, you will be using items. This is not a no item run kind of team. You would need, you know, probably the Goku and Vegeta unit and everyone Rainbow to do something like a no item run. You'd have to rely on the Gimp strat. But yeah, it's just incredibly difficult to do, you know, a no item run with this team because it needs build up. And if you don't have that build up, you are going to just struggle. So yeah, beyond that though, pretty chilled, pretty relaxed. We have good control of the fights. Master Roshi helps a lot with his ability to stun, his ability to seal. All of those really do help us out quite a bit. So that is something that, you know, I want to say we can't really like discount. You know, Master Roshi providing so much control is very helpful, and his sealing is super helpful because a lot of these fights are against 2 enemies, which means, you know, having the sealing ability really does help in terms of just keeping control of all the fights, not really giving ourselves too many issues, and just, you know, delaying the enemy's damage and just, yeah, keeping everything under control. As you can see here, he also does really good damage because you can build him entirely into crit. And he pairs well with the Strength Goku, just with most Goku units in general. He also, I think, buffs him as well with his passive. So it's a nice little combo to run, you know, if you need to. So it's always a good little combination to run, something that we can just utilize, which is always great, especially with you know, Master Roshi being a free-to-play unit, a very powerful free-to-play unit. It's nice that he is a very usable and viable option for this stage. So yeah, Master Roshi cool. The team holding up pretty fine. Obviously we are consistently using items, you know, in various ways, but we are using items. So yeah, you just do need to be careful. Make sure you use those items properly, especially when you're facing tech enemies like this Android, you know, 18. You need to just make sure that you are obviously keeping yourself from taking too much damage. Unfortunately, we could not avoid getting the Dokkan attack. As you guys know, it's always super helpful to get the Dokkan attack, especially in the last round. Just speeds things up, gives you a heal, but it's not the end of the world. We should have enough control and enough defense with our remaining units to control this second fight well enough that we should have a decent amount of items left for that final fight. So for me, everything's going quite smoothly. In terms of alternative options, it's very difficult to say because I'll be honest, the team itself can just be changed so vastly depending on if you have the LR all-out struggle unit or not. If you have them, you can change things up quite a bit. If you don't, you are stumped a little bit. Kamehameha is probably your second best bet, and then maybe depending on how lucky you are, you can maybe run something like a Goku's family. I just don't advise it. So yeah, but here we are in the final fight. Obviously we're taking on Piccolo, we're taking on Gohan. Gohan is strength type, so he's not really a big issue. And Piccolo is in type, so the typings generally play into our favor. The only real issue we have, obviously, Master Roshi, technically weak to the Gohan. As you can see here, we abuse the revive mechanic so that we can make sure that we get the revive. Remember, you need to have a certain amount of Turtle School units to get the revive mechanic to proc, but the revive mechanic will definitely help. It helps a lot because, it just allows you to reset, gain some health back, and, just maybe get some free hits in as well. But yeah, so we're going to try and focus down the Gohan with the AGL LRs, and then we'll try and just keep Piccolo under control and take him out with the Master Roshi unit, because that's generally a pretty decent strat. You can see here I'm just contemplating exactly what to do in this situation. I did contemplate putting both LR Gohans on rotation. I know they don't really link at all because they're obviously the same unit, but it did feel like a pretty decent maneuver just to have the double AGL to try and take out Gohan faster, and obviously just move the int Gohan off rotation. Eventually decided against it, just because it didn't really feel entirely necessary. It felt like we were going to get the win either way, as long as we just kept our heads calm and just didn't fool around. And you can see that we got some good damage in on him anyway, so we're fine. And he supered, but we obviously have the item, we have the type advantage, so generally not too concerned about that. And now Master Roshi is on rotation, so obviously the fear is that he gets supered by Gohan. You can counter this by trying to seal the Gohan, but he just supered. So generally, I just basically, essentially just used him to control Piccolo. Didn't really feel necessary to focus in on the Gohan, considering he just supered. It is a risk, because Gohan can super again. But it's just one of those risks that you genuinely have to just contemplate taking. So Master Roshi manages to get some good control, gets the stun, which helped us as well. The stun obviously being better than the seal, just because it obviously prevents normal attacks as well, essentially preventing an entire rotation or an entire turn of damage from the enemy, which is always something that's super duper helpful. So not complaining too much there. Just a very, very solid option in terms of just controlling your opposition. So here we're going to focus down the Gohan, hopefully finish him off, and then we can focus our entire time on Piccolo, keeping him sealed with the Master Roshi, so that we basically have a very easy run in, considering the fact that he will be in type, but he will constantly be sealed. And we do get the victory, or we get the takedown of Gohan, and then that leaves us to do some pretty decent damage to Piccolo. And now with Piccolo stunned and then being sealed each turn, it's only really a matter of time whittling him down. You do just need to be somewhat careful, because Piccolo can still do quite a significant amount of damage, but generally speaking, getting control on him will keep him from finishing us off. We shouldn't die from full health with his normal attacks, especially since our units have begun to stack up quite a bit. You know, the AGL Teen Gohans are starting to stack their defense. The the strength, Kaioken Goku's built up his defense to a certain point. You can see we take a super here, not entirely to plan, almost throw the entire thing away, which is reckless on my behalf, but I did it to try and get the seal. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that's it. So not too difficult, pretty straightforward. So let me know down in the comments how you guys found this stage. What team did you use? What strategy did you use? And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, I will check you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and until next time, bye.